Hi guys, so this is another lesson for media and information literacy. So we're done with the introduction and then the evolution and also the types of media and now the media and information sources. All right. Okay, so let's have definition of terms. These are the terms that you need to remember, especially in terms of literacy. All right. So reliability of information. So this is the information is said to be reliable if it can be verified and evaluated. So later I will discuss how how would you know that it is verified and evaluated. Again, this is very important for us to avoid spreading fake news. All right. Others refer to the trustworthiness of the source in evaluating the reliability of information. So here comes the expertise. So we need to know if it's if a certain expert is very relatable to what is being evaluated, or in short, the field of expertise. Next is accuracy of information. This accuracy refers to the closeness of the report to the actual data. So measurement of accuracy varies. So depending on, of course, the type of information being evaluated. So forecasts are said to be accurate if the report is similar to the actual data. So financial information is considered accurate if the values are correct, properly classified, and presented. In your research, you will be discussing, say for example, if you are to choose the quantitative research, you will be taught of how to measure if your data is valid or not. So there. Somehow it is the same with the information that is being conveyed. So how it is how accurate is the information. So again, with the actual data, remember when there was this survey that was reported regarding the pulse of the mass about the Duterte administration, and then the percentage was very high. Okay, the reported percentage was very high. That the mass is favoring the administration, and yet a lot of Filipinos were clamoring, where did you get that kind of data? So there. So it's the comparison. Make sure that the actual is similar, okay, with the forecasted. Okay. Value of information. Information is said to be of value if it aids the user in making or improving decisions. Okay. Authority of source. So much of the information we gather daily do not come from a primary source. So, but are passed on through secondary sources such as writers, reporters, and the like. So when we say primary source or the first hand, say for example, you interview the source. So you are the primary source, okay? And then you wrote it down, and then someone took your report. So that's already the secondary, okay? So in research, if you interview, that is the primary source. But if you take your research from, say, published works, you cite those works, that is the second, okay, secondary sources. Timeliness, reliability, accuracy, and value of information may vary based on the time it was produced or acquired. So in research, you are given like, okay, so only 10 years, within 10 years for citing sources, okay? And also, whenever we ask for, or whenever we check on the information, sometimes the information posted is from the last year's post. So we really have to be careful. So while a piece of information may have been found accurate, reliable, and valuable during the time it was produced, it may become irrelevant and inaccurate with the passing of time. Okay? So let's start with a library. Alright, so library, again, this is, library may be in a form of digital, okay, or going to the library itself. It's a room that contains printed or digital media and information such as books, encyclopedia, dictionary, newspapers, multimedia CDs, and more. So I hope that you have tried going to the library in Rizal building and in Einstein building. Okay, but I love more of the Einstein because they have a lot of books there. Because again, it's because it's new and it really has a big space. Okay. Nowadays we have, or because of the pandemic, Clear, our library, has the digital media, or has the online library. So later I will discuss that. So at least you need to know where should you go for these reliable sources, especially that you will be asking to write a lot of academic papers or output. Okay? Now, there are different types of libraries. So what are these different types of libraries? Okay. So have you been to, of course, the library in our school, or this is in the Einstein building? And also, I hope that you could visit LaSalle, TAF. Not this year. Perhaps if you have opportunity, when this pandemic is over, kindly visit big libraries like that in LaSalle, UP. Okay, but in LaSalle, they actually have their own coffee shop inside the library. Okay, this one is in Clear. Okay, this one is in LaSalle. Okay, this is actually one type of library, is an academic library. So academic library is it is a library for the higher institutions, or the university or college. It has a wide selection of books, right, journals, and other printed. Next, this one, Pambansang Aklatan, or the National Library of the Philippines. If I also suggest or recommend that once the pandemic is over and you have an opportunity to go to TAF or to Manila, visit this. This is this is actually our national library, and really has a lot of books from a long time ago. Okay, so this is how it looks like. The barangay library or the public library. Okay, so you see the difference between academic, and this is called the public library. So this is another type of library. Okay. But if you have watched some movies where public libraries are featured. Remember what's that? 2012, was that 2012? They were trapped in a library, and then until they were saved. So it's a different public library in America, but here in the Philippines, that's the kind of library we have. Okay. Next, so this one, notice that the library is filled with children. Okay, so you have there the children and someone's guiding them to read. This is what we call the school library. Now, what's the difference between academic and school library? So again, as I mentioned earlier, academic, this is more of the higher institution. Okay? But the school library, it's more of for the grade schoolers. Grade schoolers, high school there. Okay? And in this school library, they are actually, the main purpose for this school library is to teach the children how to read and also to develop the comprehension. Next, okay, so this part is where you check on the books specializing laws, okay, engineering, and culinary. So this is what we call the special library. Okay, so special library, again, as I mentioned, this is an area specified for a specific subjects or courses. Okay, so I remember when I was in college, I studied in FEU. There is a designated room for law books. I really have to. It's actually it has its own door, glass door. So when you go before you enter that place, it's either you are a law student or a law related course like mine, which is political science. So we are actually allowed to enter, but for other courses, they are not allowed to. Okay, again, unless there is a recommendation from teacher or librarian. So that's what you call the special. So again, we have 4 types of library. We have the academic, we have the public, we have the school, and we have special. So skills in accessing information from libraries. So you need to know what you need to have these skills in order to convey information that is true and factual. So due to the wealth of information in a library, it is important to know the following. Number 1, the access tool to use. So what are these access tool that we need to use? Later I will let you know of that, but I do hope that you're already using that. In BBL, we have, in mathematics, I guess you have the MacGro, okay? And also, in you have also access to the email, to the library, to our library rather, through your emails. Okay. So how the information being accessed may be classified. Okay, so we need to know if the source or the information we are accessing is reliable, okay, and valid. So how would we know? So later I will also show you. The depth of details required. Some libraries provide only an abstract of the topic. So it is also very important that we know, or very important that we ask the librarians. They are highly trained for this, that if you have a particular book that you need to use and you do not know what's the exact title of that, you can ask them. Or if ever that you only have you only know you are looking for a particular content but you do not know whether that the library has it, then you can always ask. Okay? More detailed information might require membership or some conformity to the set of the rules of the source. Example, the database. So again, for us to access the library for our school, you need to be a student of MCL. There are some local public libraries like the libraries in your barangay. So in order to have access to that, you need to be a resident of that particular barangay. So there. Now, digital form. This is for the MCL. This is the access tool that we use. Okay. So I also posted the link if you're not yet a member, or if in case that you need to check on some available books that you want to read. Okay. So access that one. And there's this Quora, Clear Online Reference Assistant, who can give you, it will, the Quora will act like someone you could ask in terms of the books or the titles or where to find it, okay, in MCL Clear. And also the other one, okay, for Clear, this is another site. Okay, this is actually the website of Clear. Right, so check it out. Alright. So that's your access tool. Aside from MacGuru and what's embedded or what is in your BBL. Okay. We also have the unpublished and published works. Okay. Basically in research, we check on the published, or we cite the published works. So for the unpublished, when we say unpublished works, say for example for dissertation and thesis, that is only for the school. That's it. But if you want to publish it, you may do so. But that's quite expensive. But at least if you have published works, it will be an additional point for you if you are or if you are into promotion. Okay. When we say human sources, this is word of mouth. So your source is a person. In short, gossip. Okay. Dissertation, that's for PhD. Thesis is for MA and also for undergrad. But again, these are unpublished works, but you may go for the published ones. Reports, gray literature, information on the internet, and email. The published ones, these are the government publications. We have the official gazette, wherein once a bill becomes a law and signed by the president, it will be circulated it will be circulated through the official gazette of the Philippines for information dissemination. Then journals, you have newspapers, monographs and textbooks, reference works, audiovisual and electronic media. So for registration here, this is how you would know this is how they validate, okay, the sources. You may check on the ISSN, so that means it's registered, okay, or ISBN. Internet. So we also get sources from internet. So this is a massive network of media and information that can be accessed through the World Wide Web. So information found on the internet, characteristic of internet information in terms of reliability. So again, as mentioned earlier, when we check on the source from the internet, make sure number one is the author an expert an expert of that field. So we need to really know, when we say an expert, it means to say that academically speaking, the person has vast knowledge, okay, and also sometimes they show the certificates, a proof that indeed you are an expert in that field. Okay, that's very important. And also, it is written in a manner that that you can relate it to the present time. Okay. Realities of the internet. So again, we have to be careful. If you notice, when we access some sites, you have there the HTTP and the HTTPS. So they have there the S for the security. And one thing, if you check on Wikipedia, okay, some of the information in Wikipedia can be edited. So that means if it's editable, then the source may or may not be factual. But you can check on the sources or the link posted on Wikipedia. So sometimes I tell my students not to trust Wikipedia because again, it's editable. Okay, so you can just add information without really even validating whether it's true or not. Information found on the internet may be quite varied in form and content. So, thus it is more difficult to determine its reliability and accuracy. So accessing information on the internet is easy but requires more discipline to check and validate. So factual and fictitious data are often merged together. Sources always have to be validated. So checking of reliability of information. So number 1, check the author. Okay, so the author's willingness to be identified is a good indication of reliability. Okay. Next, check the date of publication or of update. So while the information may be true, it may not be reliable if it's outdated. Again, because there are a lot of information being added. Update of information goes hand in hand with the evolution of technology and evolution of society. So, daming nadadagdag. Kaya nga, di ba, when it comes to the laws are being revised. Laws are being they are being revised. Okay. Pardon me. Stock up. Okay. So the reason for that kasi nga the laws, one situation happens and then kumbaga pabago-bago kasi yung sitwasyon eh. So they are trying to adapt to that situation. Kailangan kasi yung batas mo angkop naman doon sa nangyayari sa nasasakupan mo. So hindi po pwede yung dati mo pang batas yun hanggang ngayon yun pa rin yung nag-e-exist nagbabago nga ang ating society. So, check the citations. Reliable sources have the discipline of citing sources of their information. That's true. You always need to cite. Lalo na kung hindi mo yon sariling information or sariling idea. So, mahirap na kasi mag-plagiarize. Alright? Check the domain of owner of the site or page. Ayan. So, the domains .edu and .gov are reserved for academic institutions and government respectively. So, the information from such sites are presented with caution and usually well-grounded. So, usually, if you are being asked to present, say, for example, about tourism, So you just get it from DOT, Department of Tourism, or if it's about food and nutrition, then you get it from DOH, Department of Health. So, ayun, ay very naman. Since it's that gov yung mga yon. So, site owners may have an agenda that affects the manner by which information is presented. And then lastly, check the site design and writing style. Kung mali-mali grammar, mag-isip-isip. Ako, medyo mali grammar nito, parang hindi. Okay? So, ganun pa lang kasi, that's what I do actually. Whenever I check on sources, ko parang may mali dito sa grammar nito. O kaya punctuation mark. O kaya yung tone ng language, mararamdaman mo yun eh. Parang, kakaiba yung tone. Hindi siya yung professional or academic in nature. So, out na siya. Okay? So, credible sources take time to make their information accessible and easy to comprehend. So, skills in determining reliability of information. Look for facts. Okay? Then, cross-reference with other sources to check for consistency. Halimbawa, may nakita ka, syempre hindi pa rin natin alam, factual ba to o hindi? Baka hindi factual to. So, alamin natin kung factual by, again, cross-reference natin, ginagamit ba ng iba o hindi. Okay? Marami bang gumagamit nun? Kasi kung hindi, okay? Next, determine the reason for writing and publishing the information. So, check if the author is objective or leaning heavily on a certain point of view. Ibig sabihin, bias na para may pinapaboran. Pero kung we determine, ano nga bang rason nito? Okay? Bakit ganito sila? And, check for advertising. So, advertisers may use related information to market their product. Yeah. So, these are some of the criteria. Yan, reliability, accuracy, value, authority, timeliness. You can use these questions to ponder. Halimbawa, if you want to know reliability, then ask yourself, what are the details of this piece of news? Okay? So, you may read this. And thank you.